Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We've all seen them, right? The automotive world is literally packed with products making massive, game-changing promises. Well, today, we're unpacking the claims behind one in particular, the biomileage petrol additive. Now, our goal here isn't to endorse the product or bash it, but to systematically break down the exact anatomy of these claims based purely on their own marketing material. Let's get right into it.
Right out of the gate, the specific terminology they use is super fascinating. They don't just call this a standard fuel additive, they actually refer to it as an engine health tonic. Think about that word for a second. A tonic usually implies something medicinal, something restorative. It totally sets the expectation that this isn't just a chemical mix, but a comprehensive health regimen for your vehicle. It's treating the engine almost like a biological patient. So let's see exactly what this tonic supposedly cures.
To make sense of all this, we're going to break these claims down into 5 key areas. First up, performance and power. Second, deep cleaning of the engine. Third, the engine's longevity. Fourth, environment and money savings. And finally, the basis of these claims. Let's jump in.
Starting off with Section 1, Performance and Power. This is all about the immediate benefits you're supposed to feel the second you get behind the wheel.
Mechanically speaking, the promised benefits are described as a sort of chain reaction. It starts by actively increasing the fuel's octane rating. This higher octane supposedly eliminates engine knocking. You know, that really annoying tack-tack sound of a struggling engine? Well, with that knocking addressed and the octane boosted, the ultimate result is billed as far smoother acceleration and vastly improved fuel combustion.
Which brings us to their absolute boldest number. Out of all the performance promises, the standout claim is a staggering 10% increase in overall vehicle mileage. 10%! For anyone constantly watching the fuel gauge, that is a massive deal. And it's presented not just as a lucky best-case scenario, but as a direct expected outcome of that improved combustion we just talked about.
Moving on to Section 2, deep cleaning the engine. Now we're shifting our focus from what you feel on the road to what's actually happening under the hood.
The internal action is basically outlined as a 3-step deep scrub of your fuel system. Step 1 actively cleans the fuel injectors to make sure you're getting an optimal spray. Step 2 removes old built-up carbon deposits, which is a really notorious issue, especially in older engines. And finally, Step 3 acts as a protective shield, preventing the internal metal surfaces from rusting. So it's essentially a dual promise: reverse the past buildup and prevent future decay.
All right, Section 3, engine's longevity. Let's look at how this preventative care supposedly extends the life of your vehicle overall.
Building directly on those cleaning claims, the documentation lists 3 very specific protective benefits. First, it promises to prevent damage caused by ethanol. This is highly relevant today since modern blended fuels can be surprisingly harsh on older engine components. Second, it lubricates the engine parts to cut down on friction. And third, it stops fuel degradation, literally keeping your gas from going bad if it just sits in the tank for a while. The overarching narrative here is total systemic protection.
Next up, Section 4, Environment and Money Savings, because internal engine health supposedly has some major real-world impacts.
They present this as a classic win-win situation. On the environmental side, the additive promises to reduce harmful emissions, specifically carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxides, which would make those mandatory pollution tests significantly easier to pass. And on the financial side, well, those environmental and mechanical benefits are said to translate directly to your wallet. Between that 10% mileage boost and the reduced maintenance, the argument is simple: a greener engine equals a thicker wallet.
And that brings us to our final category, Section 5, the basis of claims. What exactly is offered as official proof for all of these promises?
The credentials here rest on a very long timeline. According to the packaging details, this formula definitely wasn't just whipped up overnight. It's claimed to be the result of an exhaustive 24 years of research and development. And to back that up today, the product is officially patented and holds an RAI certification. These credentials are quite deliberately used to frame the tonic not as some quick, gimmicky fix, but as a scientifically vetted automotive solution.
So the marketing material wraps up not with a final declarative statement, but with a pretty provocative question. After laying out all these promises of power, cleaning, protection, and savings, all backed by 24 years of research, it asks you directly, does your vehicle's engine get the right care for optimal performance? It's a very clever framing technique. It shifts the burden right from the product's claims over to the owner's responsibility, totally leaving you wondering what's really happening inside your engine right now. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep asking questions.